Hey guys, and welcome back to the Well-Fed Business Podcast. And there is a reason I am particularly ecstatic at this moment in time. This is the second time I've had to do this intro because shut up, dickhead over here has struggled with tech once again. His mic, where was it? It wasn't where it should be, so we got to do it again. Today we're talking about how would a direct response marketer, content marketer, and a social media manager get a girl in the bar. John, if a direct response marketer, content marketer, and a social media manager walked into a bar, how would they try and pick up the girl?
The content marketer would probably walk in and start talking to as many people as he possibly could, trying to gauge what kind of topics they're interested in. So it'd just be a non-stop monologue of waffle that no one's particularly bothered about. But hey, it's getting the image out there. It's getting him out there in the pub, all right, with the bar. The social media manager would walk in, probably pick someone, start crying, showing his vulnerability, and then start asking girls about what kind of ice cream they like and what do they do if someone buys them an ice cream they don't actually like. What happens then? That kind of shit. Direct response marketer, on the other hand, would walk in and focus on the girl he particularly wanted to take home that night. Then he would approach her, unashamed, unabashed, and he would start asking her questions about what do you like? What turns you on? What are you interested in? Maybe not quite as obvious as that, but that would be his intention, to find out from her what it is got her feeling hot and horny about things. And then he would try and close the sale. He would be respectful, he would not be pushy, but that's what would happen. And guess what? The direct response marketer would be the one who got his leg over more often than not. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Now, this often gets me into trouble with people. They don't like it. It's one of those things that they disapprove of. Just the message because it's icky, they think. But there is no practical difference. Qualitatively, there's no difference between seduction romantically and seduction in selling. And I'm not surprised. Now, this would be PhD research, I suspect. So I've never done it. And what I'm about to say is not based in science, but it's based in observation. And I feel confident in saying it because of those observations. It's empirically pretty bloody obvious. But I'm also prepared to be wrong. It could be completely coincidental. But I suspect the mechanisms involved in the brain and the way we are as humans, the way we interact, the same mechanisms involved in romantic seduction have been co-opted by commerce and sales. They almost certainly operate on the same areas in the brain. So what I suspect would happen is if you could put someone in a brain scanner and then seduce that person sexually, and then put the same person in the brain scanner and seduce that person in marketing terms to buy something, I pretty much guarantee the same areas of the brain would be lighting up. Could be wrong, but I bet I'm not. So I've taken the approach myself, and I kind of teach this, and I'm very open about it. You know, if you want to learn how to sell, study seduction. Because selling is often surrounded with a lot of bullshit and flowery stuff, whereas the seduction community generally isn't. Now, I would give this a caveat. Many of the people in the seduction community, especially the newer people, maybe in the last 10 years, a lot of them are pretty fucking nasty. They're unpleasant. And some of them go towards the incel side, which I really do not like. And I would have no part of that. I want to be clear about this. But to me, seduction is a case of, it's not manipulation at all. It's a case of you want what you want, and you want to give the lady or whoever you're seducing what they want too. So it's mutually beneficial. Now, manipulation would be you get what you want and you just don't give a shit about her or him or whatever. You just use them. I'm not into that. I never have been. But it's the same with sales, isn't it?
It's not a zero-sum game.
Exactly. A transformational salesperson will get what they want in terms of the sale, but will also do it only if they give the other person what they want. It's the same with seduction. But yeah, I used to be a player. I still could. I still got the skills. I use them daily, obviously, in my marketing.
What I hear is if you want a bit of fanny, be a doorman because you're in a position of power.
Basically, yeah.
And there's a lesson in that as well around positioning, isn't it?
Yes, without doubt. Yeah. You need to be in your business. You need to be your own doorman with the same attitude. If you're not on the list, you're not coming in. That's a fucking cliche, but that's true of doorman and nightclubs. Why is it not true of your business too? If you ain't on my list of approved clients or approved prospects, you ain't coming in. You don't just get to walk into my business. This is not a fucking open air cafe.
So it's really interesting watching the personal trainer that I use. He's realised all of this. So he went from essentially trying to model commercial gyms where it's fucking 50 quid a month or whatever. You come in whenever you like, yada, 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 typical what you expect from a gym, to obviously that falling down in COVID, having to do booked slots, and therefore, in order to make his money, having to do PT only. And he has never gone back to the commercial model. He's moved to a private model where it's, application and invite only. His fees are far higher, and there's only ever one or two people in the gym. People can't just walk in anymore. And he's like, it's changed my life. And he stumbled, he stumbled across this. He hadn't designed it, but now he wants more. He wants more. He's like, well, how can I take this further, Connor? And I'm like, I'm pretty hesitant, because otherwise I go there to get away from business. I don't want to spend the whole time in the gym talking about fucking business. But it's all about, well, you need to raise your positioning even further.
Why isn't he on core control?
We'll talk about that after, but we'll talk about that after. Anyway, but it's an amazing feeling when you finally take control of your business for once, rather than feeling like the general public and your prospects have control of your business, dictating your price, your services, when you will and won't work, when you will and won't talk to them. And you get your calendar in order, your prices in order, your marketing in order. It's a wonderful fucking feeling.
I want to be very clear about something now as well. We call it core control, and we talk about taking control. I want to be very clear about this. You do not control anything outside yourself. We're not claiming that.
Yeah.
The difference is, I mean, there's no material difference. We don't suddenly magically change you into a different person or change the world around you. All we do, and I say all, it's quite modest. All we do is we show you a different way to think about your business. So you take control of your feelings, your thoughts, and your actions. And that means taking control of your business. There's no other control you have. You never control the prospect. You never control the client. You never control your competitors. You don't control the market. You don't control anything except yourself. Now, taking control really means taking a stand often. This is what I do. This is what I sell. This is how much I charge. And if you're not prepared to go along with all that, go somewhere else. That's taking control of your business. And it often, or it may mean that sometimes you go through these periods of famine almost, because things aren't working out, but you still stick to your principles. The moment you start letting other people dictate your terms and conditions and your prices, you are in trouble. You are in real trouble. And also, if you're in the UK and you only have one client and they're telling you what you should be doing, you quite possibly fall foul of IR35 as well. I'm not an expert in this, although I used to be a contractor. And we were very careful about the way we worded our contracts and things, because otherwise we would have fallen foul of IR35 too. So it's not just subcontractors who are in this. It's if you're a freelancer and you work with one client and they tell you where you should work and there's no substitution clause, etc., 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 you could well fall foul of IR35. And in the current climate, when the government is raising taxes and looking to claw as much tax from you as possible, you can bet your life they're going to start coming for freelancers who aren't careful about this. Just a bit of a heads up for people.
They definitely are. There's been a massive increase in the government essentially put in a bunch of CCJs recently. There's been an increase. I can't remember the exact numbers, but the government are doing everything they can to scramble as much money back as possible. And I suppose it's not coincidental that it's probably time's up on the, what was it, loans? Bounce back loans. I think time's up on that. Like, payments need to start coming in for that. And if you miss one payment, they're like, bang, straight to county court.
Dude, I predicted all of this the moment COVID hit. And it's not because I'm a genius, which I am. It's because it's fucking obvious. Governments, with rare exceptions, say Norway, who owns the oil field, so they do have their own revenue. Governments almost never, with very rare exception, governments don't have their own money. Any money a government has is money it's taken from you, or it's borrowed from people who invest in gilts and things. Right? Governments don't have their own money, so when they give you money, like bounce back loans or tax breaks and things, what they're actually doing is giving you your own money back or someone else's money. Well, that means they've got less money in their coffers, so they need to get that money to replenish the coffers from somewhere else. Where's that? Hello, I'm looking at you. This is basic, simple stuff most people don't seem to understand. Governments have no money. And I'm going to echo the words of, it's over there, the poster from V for Vendetta. People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
Yeah, it's the other way, though.
It is the other way around, but it should not be that way around.
It shouldn't be, but it is, unfortunately.
Governments should be terrified of us. They should be worried every morning. They should be waking up terrified they're going to get strung from a fucking lamppost like Mussolini.
And overthrown, yeah.
That would be healthy.
It would be healthy, and and the fact that that's not going to happen is even more reason that you need to start taking control. And if you're wasting your time with content marketing and generic social media marketing without having consulted with a direct response marketer with a solid sales and marketing strategy,
Yeah, I want to be very clear about something else as well. I am not saying content marketing doesn't work, because it clearly does. I have a blog which will remain nameless. It's in the fetish space, which probably gets anything from 6 to 10 sign-ups a day for free, generates a constant source of income. That's content marketing. It does work. But it works because I've written it from a direct response point of view. If you are, as you say, a generic content marketer or a generic social media marketer, and social media marketing works too, because we make sales through social media, it does work, but not if you approach it from the direction of, oh, you just need to get stuff out there. It doesn't matter what it is, you just need to show yourself, to get engagement, to appear vulnerable, all that kind of stuff. It will get you engagement, absolutely. Will it make you sales? Unless you're wanting to sell what you're doing, which is content marketing and influencership, no, it won't.
You have to learn the fundamentals of sales and marketing. The best way to do that is by studying direct response. When you have those nailed down, and seduction, when you've got that nailed down, then you can start looking at the stupid shit around social media marketing if it tickles your pickle. Because if you talk to us, we don't care about what time of the day you post. We don't care about the colour of your socks. We don't care if a poll is better run on Tuesday or a Thursday. We don't care about any of those things. We simply just care about, is your message generating response? Whether you have a lead generation strategy or you're going straight to sales. That's all we care about. And then we look at that. And then if you want to make those 1% tweaks about time of the day posting, which, you know, if you ask me, it's just a waste of time really worrying about it. It really is. But if you want to get into that, once you've got the fundamentals now, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. But don't hop from social media marketer to content manager to social media marketer and say to yourself, I don't know why I'm not making any sales.
Well, that actually opens an interesting conversation. I read it first in that book by Mike Shreve.
Yeah.
Where he says, most people try something to see if it works, whereas I recommend you try something or you work something until it works. So we were just laughing about this in the morning. Our core control product and all the stuff around it is showing incredibly promising results so far, both in terms of results for the clients, but also sales. And people will then probably say, oh, it was easy. It was an overnight success. You just put this thing together and look how successful you were. It's not the same for me. What you won't see is the 20 years I've spent learning this stuff, or the 3 years Connor and I have spent working to this point. I mean, we've not been working on that product for 3 years, but we've been working together for 3, possibly 4 years. 4 years now.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've tried things and they've worked and then they've stopped working so well because we were probably too tactical at times. Connor and I are not an overnight success by any means. On the contrary, we're fucking fed up with it at times because it sometimes seems like we're banging our head against brick walls. But we carry on because we know what we're doing and we know that once we hit that mother load, it will feed us forever.
Well, we've been quietly testing, haven't we?
Yeah.
Quietly testing different delivery methods, different messages, and I don't want to get into it now because it's not the appropriate episode, but there was that moment where everything, the light bulb, I think, went off in both of our heads, and it was like, oh my God, everything fits together perfectly now.
That was
this finally makes sense. I was the one that spotted it, but we was heading down that road anyway, if you know what I mean. It wasn't oh my God, that's the signpost. We need to go change what we're doing and go down that road. We was already on that road. I just went, hang on a minute. What did that signpost say? Oh my God, we've ended up on the right road.
That was amazing. I remember that moment because I was cooking dinner at the time. And it came, oh, fucking hell. He's absolutely, how did I not see this?
But sometimes it takes that. And another thing, not really related to the episode, but we've been able to spend 4 years putting all of this together because of the trust we have. And because me and John, and this is going to sound pretty weird, but because of the trust me and John have for each other, when you come into our world and you come in under one of our programs, you feel taken care of because there's two of us up there, mate, looking after you in very different ways. And me and John, weirdly, like parents, are almost a united front.
It's quite scary. I know we're an odd couple, really, because on paper you'd think we'd have nothing in common. In fact, we tell this story. There was one program we were on ourselves, our own education, just proving we walk our talk. And Connor went to this online meeting, how to run a business with your partner, thinking, oh, great, business partners. They thought they meant romantic partner, and they thought I was his fucking sugar daddy. They thought we were a pair of bum bandits, which was hilarious.
I'll never forget it. It turned out, and it's like there was no red flags at this point, no alarm bells going off. Yeah, and until we went round the room and we had to say who our partners were, and I was like, oh yeah, you probably know the autistic fella, John. Yeah, me and him run it together. And then the next person went, well, I love my Ashley very much.
Fuck. Yeah, I love John too, but where's this going?
That's what I thought. I thought these fucking Americans. And then I finally got a gauge on the room, you know.
Oh dear. Yeah. Read the room, Connor.
Yeah.
Read the room.
God.
I mean, to be fair, you know, I'm not gay, and I don't think gay sex is disgusting. It would be disgusting with you.
Thanks.
What were you saying?
I was saying, if you want to learn more about us, go buy our book, well-fed-freelancer.com. You want to buy it whilst you can, because it's going to go on the backbench soon.
It's going to go on the backbench, yes. It's going to be superseded by the Well-Fed Business Owner, which is print only and costs 4 times as much, or it will do. It's half price at the moment until publication date, which is the 6th of December. So get a wriggle on.
The only way you're going to get that discount, by the way, at this moment in time, is by buying the Well-Fed Freelancer to get on the email list, which then you'll get an email with the opportunity to buy the book. That's the only way to get it at this moment in time. That will change. Anyway, go get the book. Go get the book. You can't join us in core control because you're fucking stupid. Didn't join us first time round. Yeah, exactly. And even then, we might not. But anywho, goodbye.
See you later.